Hi, this is Andrew Lightheart from smallbiztalks.com, and today we are talking about Hans Rosling's talk, Debunking Third World Myths with Statistics. Now, here's an anomaly for you. Debunking Third World Myths with Statistics is the fourth most favoured talk on TED ever. Kind of makes you think, like an old flatmate of mine used to say, what is going on? I have four things to tell you that I like about the way he presents, and I also have two which are like warning things that you can learn from Hans. Now, the first thing you notice, which he does again and again, and it's a pattern, and I'd really like you to see it, is he consistently sets a context for the data that he's about to give. Then, he creates a question in our mind. Then he says, this is what the data will look like if this is true. This is what the data will look like if this is true, still with the question in our mind, but giving us the context for what we're about to see. Then he answers the question. So he goes, question, this is the context for the answer, answer. Question, here's the context for the answer, answer. And what that does is it creates a nice pattern for us of always being kept awake, because there's some curiosity being created. So one of the major things you can learn is about curiosity, is about getting people to wake up. Now, he does a lot in this talk which are total no-nos. One of them is walking in the death ray, which is what a mentor of mine taught me, is that you walk in the PowerPoint beam. It's like the death ray. You never do it. I teach people never to do it. In business presentations, it totally ruins your credibility, and yet here's this guy in the fourth most favoured talk on TED standing in front of the beam, and I think it's one of the reasons why people favourite it. Because people forgive passion. We don't really care about the rules. We don't really care what you... If you've got passion and you're interesting to us, you're creating things that are interesting us, which is the next point, we forgive an enormous amount of technique for passion. So the more that you can find your real passion. I saw on Twitter last night Tom Peters giving some advice to someone about how to get a professional speaking career, and I don't know if that's something that interests you, but it is something from someone who has created a career from public speaking, who says you just got to be desperate to get your message out there, in all caps. And the more you can find the part of you that really wants to get your message into the world, the more you don't really have to worry about technique. You don't have to worry about doing things right, because people are going to connect. Your right people are going to connect with the passion that you're giving. The other thing that he does really well, which I kind of mentioned before, is he creates curiosity. He gives the startling and surprising aspects of his topic. What's one of the jobs of the amygdala, one of the bits in the brain that looks after emotional reactions, is that we get habituated naturally to what is constant in our environment, because mainly what's constant in our environment is safe. But one of the things the amygdala is looking for is novelty, because often the new thing is the thing we have to pay attention to. It's the danger. So our survival instinct is looking for what's novel. So you can kind of sneakily hijack this by showing the novel parts, creating the experience of novelty for the people who are listening to you. So the more you can give us the startling aspects, the surprising aspects of your topic, the more you're going to naturally keep people awake. And of course, the fourth point is something we can't go past, which is the first 5 minutes of his talk. The way he sets the story for how he entered the field, the way he asks a question that we probably get the wrong answers to, and yet he has this realization that it's lower than chance, goes and looks at the data, and then gives that beautiful realization where he's diving in and giving the sports-like commentary over the top. And that's this beautiful 5 minutes of a talk. So creating a climax, creating excitement, that's the first time I've seen statistics getting a round of applause from people. I mean, they are TED people who are slightly weird, but at least, it's creating this enormous reaction, and I can't help but be excited by what he's saying. But then we get to the 2 warnings, one of which is you need to be careful that you dumb down enough. Because what happens after that beautiful 5 minutes is he keeps going and going and going. And I bet to him it feels like, as someone who knows this data inside and out and the details of the software, that he feels like he's already dumbing down an enormous amount. But if you're a specialist, you're going to need to be careful that you're dumbing down enough for us to grasp your topic. And I think he probably doesn't dumb down enough. One of the ways, if you're thinking about how you might do that and still not be oversimplifying things, is that you might want to choose a narrow part of your topic and go down deep. So you choose a very particular thing. At the moment, my examples seem to come from style consultants. Hello, Joseph. So maybe you do a talk about ties, how to choose the right tie for the right shirt, and draw principles from that. But you're teaching people something quite deep, but something so that you're giving something people can grasp and it's really practical. If you're a copywriter, maybe you particularly talk about one aspect. Copyblogger often talk about headlines. You maybe want to talk about very particular aspects of tone of voice, but you're giving people something that they can really grasp hold of. Otherwise, if you try and do your whole field and all the information behind it, you're going to feel like you're dumbing down. But you need to be careful you're dumbing down enough for us to grasp hold of something practical. The other thing, without being too fnar about it, is you need to be careful not to climax too early. Those 5 minutes of the beginning 5 minutes of Hans Rosling's talk are beautiful. And then it kind of tails off a little bit. So my coaching would have been for him to take some of the single country data, show the visualization, do a bit of a voiceover, show how he wants to give the data, and then end with that beautiful part of the data over the countries over 40 years, 40 years. Because the climax has to come at the end. Like other things, but you really want to be taking an audience through. Now, it's okay to create some curiosity, to have a mini climax, but then you want to be building and building so that the rhythm means that at the end, that's where you end. So that might be something to bear in mind, is to make sure you don't give all your best shit first and then leave yourself with nothing to finish with. So, interesting. A statistician who creates a really popular talk. Might be worth checking out. At least check out the first 5 minutes, because there's an enormous amount of value in watching those. So this is Andrew Lightheart from smallbiztalks.com talking about how to be interesting, and I'll see you next time.